Exodus chapter 37. Making the Ark of the Testimony. Then Bezalel made the Ark of Acherah wood. 2.5 cubits was its length, a cubit and a half its width, and a cubit and a half its height. He overlaid it with pure gold inside and out. He made a molding of gold all around it. Verse 3, and he cast for it 4 rings of gold to be set in its 4 corners, 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other side of it. He made poles of Acherah wood and overlaid them with gold. And he put the poles into the rings of the side of the ark to bear the ark. He also made the mercy seat of pure gold. 2.5 cubits was its length, and a cubit and a half its width. Verse 7, he made 2 cherubims of beaten gold. He made them of one piece at the 2 ends of the mercy seat. One cherub at the one end on this side, and the other cherub at the other end on that side. He made the cherubim at the 2 ends of one piece with the mercy seat. Verse 9, the cherubim spread out their wings above and covered the mercy seat with their wings. They faced one another. The faces of the cherubim were towards the mercy seat. Verse 10, making the table for the showbread. He made the table of Acherah wood. 2 cubits was its length, a cubit its width, and a cubit and a half its height. And he overlaid it with pure gold and made a molding of gold all around it. Also he made a frame of handbreadth all around it and made a molding of gold for the frame all around it. And he cast its 4 rings of gold and put the rings on the 4 corners that were at its 4 legs. Verse 14, the rings were close to the frame as holders for the poles to bear the table. And he made the poles of Acherah wood to bear the table and overlay them with gold. He made of pure gold the utensils which were on the table, its dishes, its cups, its bowls, its pitchers for pouring. Verse 17, making the golden lampstand. He also made the lampstand of pure gold of hammered work. He made the lampstand, its shaft, its branches, its bowls, its ornamental knobs, its flowers were of the same piece. And 6 branches came out of its side, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. There were 3 bowls made like almond blossoms on one branch, and with an ornamental knob and a flower, and 3 bowls made like almond blossoms on the other branch, with an ornamental knob and a flower, and so for the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. Verse 20, and on the lampstand itself were 4 bowls made like almond blossoms, each with its ornamental knob and flower. Then there was a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, as a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches extending from it. Verse 22, their knobs and their branches were of one piece, all of it was one hammered piece of pure gold. And he made its 7 lampstands wick trimmed, and its trays of pure gold. Verse 24, of a talent of pure gold he made it with all its utensils. Verse 25, making the altar of incense. He made the incense altar of Acherah wood. Its length was a cubit, and its width a cubit. It was square, and 2 cubits was its height. Its horns were of one piece with it. Verse 26, and he overlaid it with pure gold, its top, its sides, all around, its horns, and also made for it a molding of gold all around it. He made 2 rings of gold for under its moldings by 2 corners of both sides as holders for the poles in which to bear it. Verse 28, and he made the poles of Acra wood and overlaid them with gold. Verse 29, making the anointing oil and the incense. He also made the holy anointing oil and the pure incense of sweet spices according to the work of the perfumer. End of chapter 37. Let's continue on reading about the Ark of the Testimony in chapter 38 of Exodus. Making the altar of burnt offerings. He made the altar of burnt offerings of Acra wood. 5 cubits was its length and 5 cubits its width. It was square, and its height was 3 cubits. He made its horns on its 4 corners. The horns were of the piece with it, and he overlaid it with bronze. He made all the utensils for the altar, the pans, the shovels, the basins, the forks, and the fire pans, and all its utensils he made of bronze. And he made a grate of bronze network for the altar under the rim, midway from the bottom. He cast 4 rings for the 4 corners of the bronze grating as holders for the poles, and he made the poles of Acra wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he put the poles into the rings on the side of the altar which to bear it. He made the altar hollow with boards. Verse 8, making the bronze laver. He made the laver of bronze and its base of bronze from the bronze mirror to the serving women who assembled at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Verse 9, making the court of the tabernacle. Then he made the court on the south side. The hangings of the court were woven of fine linen, 100 cubits long. There were 20 pillars for them with 20 bronze sockets. The hooks on the pillars and their bands were of silver. On the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits long with 20 pillars and their 20 bronze sockets. The hooks and the pillars on their bands were of silver. On the west side, there were hangings of 50 cubits with 10 pillars on their 10 sockets. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were of silver. For the east side of the hangings were 50 cubits. Verse 14, the hangings of one side of the gate were 15 cubits long, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. Verse 15, and the same for the other side of the court gate on this side, and that were hanging of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. All the hangings of the court all around were woven of fine linen. Verse 17, the sockets for the pillars were of bronze. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were of silver, and overlay of their capitals was of silver. And all the pillars of the court had bands of silver. The screen for the gates of the court was woven in blue and purple and scarlet yarn and fine linen thread. The length was 20 cubits, and the height along it, which was 5 cubits, corresponding to the hangings of the court. And there were 4 pillars with their 4 sockets of bronze, their hooks of silver, and their overlay of capitals, and their bands was of silver. All the pegs of the tabernacle of the court all around were of bronze. Verse 21, materials of the tabernacle. This is the inventory of the tabernacle of the testimony, which was counted according to the commandment of Moses for the service of the Levites, by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. Verse 22, Bezalel, the son of Ur, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord had commanded Moses. And with him was Aholibah, the son of Ahilashmash, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and designer, a weaver in the blue and purple and scarlet yarn and fine linen thread. Verse 24, all the gold that was used in the work of the holy place, that is the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver from those who were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents and 775 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. Verse 26, a beketh for each man, that is a half a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, for everyone included in the numbering from 20 years old and above, for 603,550 men. Verse 27, and from the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the bases of the veil, 100 sockets from the 100 talents, 1 talent for each socket. Then from the 1,725 shekels he made hooks for the pillars, overlaid their capitals, and made bands for them. The offering of bronze was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. And with it he made the sockets for the door of the tabernacle of meeting and bronze altar, the bronze grating for it, and all the utensils for the altar. Verse 31, the sockets for the court all around, the bases for the court gate, all the pegs for the tabernacle, and all the pegs for the court all around. And that is the end of chapter 38. Well, we saw a lot go on here. Building of the Ark of the Testimony. It seems, again, why is all this stuff in here? It's really hard to picture all this in your head, at least in my tiny little brain, trying to figure out how this all goes together and looks. But God put this in here for a reason. So I read it there, and another thing that I'm a little bit can't really tell you about is why certain parts of this were made of gold, other parts silver, and then other parts are bronze. There is something significant about gold, silver, and bronze in the Bible, and if I ever did know what it was, I have forgotten it now, unfortunately. So perhaps as I go on, I will learn more about that and be able to tell you the reason why, the differences between gold, silver, and bronze in the Bible, and why it is made like that.